Hello, it's Nicholas. How are you? I'm somewhere. This is a real background. Um, how are you? I decided to make this video because I didn't cover the week's transits. We're in the middle of the week right now, but we have like 2 to 3 particular transits that happen in the next 3 to 4 days. I thought I'd come on here and say something about them. One of them has to do with something that just happened, actually. You probably watched the new moon in Aquarius video. You can link it. I'll link it up there with Cameron Allen, and I talked about this. I did a Mercury in Aquarius video with Kira Sutherland that we're in the middle of right now. But basically, we just came out of a new moon and a moon-Pluto conjunction the last several days. But now the moon is in Pisces, and we get into an interesting area here next several days. First one being is that Uranus, the planet of discord in a sense. Well, Eris is discord, but liberation, shock, and surprises, electricity, the random impulse that comes through our lives from the subconscious to the conscious. Uranus, Prometheus, stations forward out of a massive retrograde cycle here in Taurus at 23 degrees. We've been waiting for this. We pretty much right now, slowly, we're having the outer body planets moving forward, okay? So if you're a Taurus or Taurus rising, or you have any planets in Taurus between 22 to 25 degrees, even to 29, this is a fundamental week for you, because now Uranus has stopped at this 23 degree mark and is slowly going to move forward here in Taurus. And anybody who's been dealing with the Taurus parts of their chart the last several years, or since 2018, when Uranus, the planet of liberation, of progressive thought at times, the planet that brings a lightning bolt into the Taurus part of your chart that's completely out of the blue and splits this tree over there and then does it again, and you can't predict it. It is there to uproot, break apart, shake, and eventually liberate that part of the chart, the Taurus part of the chart. Now, when we have stationary points, when planets station to go retrograde backwards or station forward out of retrograde, these are critical areas. And if you are a person that has something around 22, 23, 24 degrees Taurus or other fixed signs, I think you're going to catch this off the bat. Now, Uranus will move forward the rest of the year and eventually leave. In July, will leave Taurus, it seems like, for good, because it started this transit in 2018. But it doesn't. It just touches Gemini, and eventually it's going to go back retrograding into the second half of the year and the beginning of next year. But this critical Uranus point, along with next week, Jupiter, which has been going backwards in Gemini, is going to move forward. You have two heavy hitters in the zodiac, in the astrological world, that are going to move forward and propel stories in the Taurus parts of people's charts, the Gemini parts of people's charts, etc., etc. That happens. Uranus stationing direct on January 30th here. It will be in effect here, I'd say, for the next so many weeks, okay? So we have that happening. The moon's in Pisces. And then we also have here on the 30th is the sun in inventive air sign fixed Aquarius, which now we're in the Aquarius birthdays, and we see what's happening with this new moon intention in Aquarius, the deep singular thought of Mercury and Pluto in Aquarius that is, in a sense, part of the seeding moment for the new moon and the Aquarius parts of your chart. We're forward thinking, we're alternatively thinking, we're not in the normal way of brewing an idea, we're branching off into a different way of thinking, or a different way the idea comes into our world. And then we have Uranus that's stationing forward at the same time. You could see this sort of electric energy that could possibly be around these transits. So the sun now in Aquarius is making a connection to fellow air sign Gemini, Jupiter in Aquarius. They call this a trine, 120 degree aspect. This is pretty good stuff for those who are Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, or somebody's got Aquarius and Gemini like me. This doesn't get any better than this, considering there's other transits that will happen later in the year. It's stuff with air signs, but you Gemini and Aquarius speak a secret language to each other, one that I don't think even Libra understands, to be honest. And it's a type of higher antenna mind language that happens. So the sun gets kissed by uplifting jovial Jupiter in the communicative sign of Gemini, and it's the word and the idea. And Mercury right now is in Aquarius, and it just came out of this new moon, and it just came out of a touch with Pluto. So it's a deep, deep thought, a deep kiss, really, here with the sun in Aquarius and Jupiter in Gemini, trining each other and actually bringing uplifting quality to what air signs do. They're social, they're thinking, they're maneuvering, they're bringing something that most of the time for other people doesn't come easily. A lot of times with air, we need the space and we need the soft breezes. We need the soft breezes to come through and change our perspectives, to change our thought perspectives. And so this week is a pretty big one, considering the new moon and Mercury, Pluto, and now the sun getting kissed by Jupiter. Please take this into your world and thoughts. Look to the Aquarius and Gemini parts of your chart and connect on a social level within yourself or with other people who understand this languaging and are willing to experiment and communicate and freely choose to say your thoughts, ideas, and opinions, and to be inventive with those things, and to have a little fun with some mind play, okay? So that happens along, the moon's at Pisces at this point, but now we get into the 31st, we start this interesting moon in Pisces weekend, where the moon is going to pass through several different planets, and the first one it makes a conjunction with is Saturn here, 17 degrees on January 31st. In one sense, it's continuing the Venus and Pisces story and the Venus conjunction with Saturn story that we are going through right now, which will lead us into eclipse season in March. So you're having the precursor to this. Now, the moon and Saturn get serious. Saturn gives form to the moon in Pisces. It gives it actually some definition and stability in the moon in Pisces' mission about the unknown, the emotional unknown, the different ways we can deal with our emotional content in the Pisces parts of our chart, the love and compassion of Pisces, the integrativeness, the oneness of Pisces, that its intention in a balanced, harmonious way. The other way is it is lost, it's identifying with other things it shouldn't, and it can get lost at sea. And Saturn right here, for a moment, is holding it in a container and saying, hey, we want to be focused, bring that moon in Pisces to the next several planets that are coming your way, and that is going into February 1st. It's happening now. The moon, at that point, Venus in Pisces will then connect with Neptune at 27 degrees. We have a Venus-Neptune conjunction. They're together. We got the planet of love and its place it loves to vacation in, Pisces. Everything flows there. Everything is sweet and good and sugary and feel good and romantic and ethereal and imaginative. And it's touching Pluto, which rules the dream and the everything and the nothing, right? The illusion, the fantasy, the oneness and the separateness, the story of all this. And Venus and Neptune pretty much make out with each other here. So make use of this. If you are into the creative somethings in your life, this is where you make love to yourself creatively. This is where you take the ingenuity and the ideas earlier the week of Aquarius and Gemini and this whole thing Mercury. Then you get out of the mind sense of the envisioning of the future. Then you bring it into the creative place, the emotional place, the loving, compassionate place, the altogether oneness of things. And you celebrate it, concoct it, sip it down. Sit in that bathtub and let love ooze and pour all over you. The Venus-Neptune conjunction happens on the 1st at 8:33 a.m. Pacific time, but we're not done yet because Venus is also making conjunction to the North Node eclipse story that we're about to do, and the moon's in Pisces. So the moon basically is going to lead the story this week. It's going to connect with Saturn. It's going to connect with Venus, with Neptune to help the Venus-Neptune connection. So much Pisces this weekend, you might lose yourself. You might lose yourself in some place, some world, some fantastical place of beauty where healing is, where stress and anxieties melt away, where love resides, and where the creative dwells. It is nature, it is the unknown and the mystery. It is where we come from. I choose the beauty in all this. It's really easy to lose oneself in a story like this. For those who have challenges with losing them oneself and identifying with things and running away from things, you have to be careful with a transit like this. I have to say that. But I'm going to take the road here this week and this weekend that has to do with love and beauty and what we inherently want. Peace and calm and happiness for ourselves and the connection to the world and those we love. To feel how connected we are to the breeze and to the mysterious waters where things are unspoken, but inherently and intuitively known. Think about that when you go into this weekend and take a break. Do this because the transit's coming up. We'll start to ram up and move fast in February. Mars will eventually, at the end of the month, move forward. And then we'll go in eclipse season, and we're going to deal with Pisces in a different way. There's a massive reality check coming that way at that time. But for right now, this weekend, make that cup of tea, go to your altar, do whatever it is. I'll tell you what I'm doing. It's this right now. I want this. I want it in my dream life and in my waking life. And I find myself inspired and connected. This is me. A Taurus rising, Venus ruled, where my senses are touched and I'm inspired and I feel grounded. That is me. I don't know what it is for you, but if you take the high inspirational loving approach, the compassionate approach with yourself, you might be floating along these waters in your heart and your mind and your bathtub in reality, and let the mysterious river take you where you need to go. And when you don't know what that is and you can't trust it, and you might be in fear of what is and the questionings or what's going to happen, one thing Pisces teaches us is to trust the mystery and to trust the unknown and to trust yourself in all of this with an intentional, love, compassionate, poetic vessel, right, to carry you through down the river. Where the hell does that come from when I talk sometimes? I'm a lucky human. Even if no one watches this, I'm talking to myself. It feels pretty good. I have to be careful because that's how gurus get born. Speaking of gurus, anyway, we go through that on the weekend, a Pisces weekend on the 3rd of February. We're going to do Mercury in Aquarius, then trining Jupiter in Gemini, what the sun did earlier in the week. You see these interesting aspects. They're really good, okay? Take advantage of this. I always preach this on this channel. We know the longer story. I talk about longer chapters. Pluto 20-year story, the politics that's going on there, all the bullshit you're seeing in the news. Go find this place in your mind. Go find it in the book. Go find it in your creativity. Go find it and drink it down and be inspired by your mind. You don't have to get caught up in all that stuff. It's there waiting for you. It's going to be there 20-fold tomorrow, 2 years down the line, when revolutionary times come. In the meantime, disconnect and connect, or connect here, or connect there. The mind of Mercury in Aquarius connects with Jupiter and Gemini here on the 3rd at 1:51 p.m. Pacific at 11 degrees here as Jupiter is stationing forward. And Mars will do something, whatever. February 4th, that's when Jupiter moves forward. Take the ideas from the air parts of your chart this week, then come into the Pisces part of your world, reset, reimagine, Oh, that's some serious training over there. You see this? This is like Olympic sport training or something. I'm cool. I'm cool with the Taurus part of me when water is lapping against Earth here. On that note, that's what's up. I can talk about a lot more things. I got another video queued up for my Patreon members that's coming this weekend. Go look at my February schedule. I am so rejuvenated and I'm ready to do readings again in a way where I'm just like, I needed to separate myself, okay? So I'm gonna take my air stuff in this Pisces weekend and fill my cup and drink the flowers of the world and let it penetrate me. I hope in a positive way the message today penetrated you, okay? And hey, intentionally, during these Moon and Pisces, Venus, Neptune thing, let's all think about how incredibly strong and beautiful we are and the infinite amount of love we have inside ourselves and in this world. And that is powerful. And that is something they can never take away from you and me and us. No matter what they do, they can't take that away. And what comes from places like that are revolutionary. All right? I'll see you on the next video.